I'm Peter London and I'm here to introduce you to a close friend of mine, Louis Saunders. We go way back, attending the same secondary school in the LNC, as he said during it within the mainstream school. A bit, I was 3 years above him. We both played boccia to a high standard over the years. However, Louis has flew higher than me in recent years. In this documentary, we transport you throughout his boccia journey in general, from school to Tokyo and beyond. This is incredible.
Hello, I'm Louis Saunders. I'm 21 years of age and I'm a student at Sussex University.
My name's Steve Richards. I work with Louis as his assistant for Boccia when we go away and train with him throughout the year.
I'm Nat Webb. I'm the teacher in charge at the LNC here at Angmering School, where Louis came to school from year 7 right through to year 14 actually.
I'm also a member of the Boccia UK boccia team and I've been competing for Great Britain since I was 16 years old.
Could you explain boccia in layman terms?
No.
Boccia is a target sport. You have 6 red balls, 6 blue balls and a jack ball.
Taking it in turns.
Your aim is to get as many of your balls as close to that jack as you possibly can.
The person who's furthest away throws until they're closer.
Well, I meet all of my young people in year 6, so yeah, everybody that we know is going to join us for their year 7 September. We try to meet them as early as possible into year 6.
Then I met him and his dad at a couple of events, so I knew he wanted to come.
But I didn't really have lots to do with him. It was more just bringing him up to the school, making him comfortable with the surroundings here, finding out how he liked to work.
I knew he loved sport, and that's all we ever started with anyone. Why do you want to come to Angmering? What is it that you want to do? You want to play lots of sport, and we try lots of different sports.
Louis and I actually had a couple of sessions within the timetable for sport.
It was whatever he wanted to play to enjoy. The same with anything. You were the same. Anyone who came to school, play what you want to play, let's see if you enjoy it. And then we tried different sports.
At that point, he was a tennis player. So we would actually go out onto the hard courts and play tennis. And then one day it was just really, really bad weather. And we were like, well, we're not playing tennis in this. So we went into the canteen. I grabbed a set of boccia balls and I got the skills test. So there's a 9-point skills test where you measure how accurate a player is. And then we just had a go. And he played and he scored really highly. And I just went, ooh, you've got a natural talent for this. And it went from there, if I'm honest. That was the first moment, and then we progressed.
We got into it, and as he got into it, I was moving out. I left him at year 8, so it was only then later on that he was into it more, and then I was coming back in doing some additional coaching and work with all the boccia players.
Miss Webb, Nat, who kind of introduced me into the sport properly. And she was kind of instrumental in my early years of playing boccia, kind of teaching me the basics and helping me get onto the England pathway.
I then got in contact with, it was Matt at the time, at Boccia England, and he came down and did a bit of talent ID and looked at students. Not just Louis, to be fair, because at that point we had a really strong boccia squad. So, as you'll know, so he was looking at a few players, but I think, to be fair, Louis did stand out.
And then within 8-9 months, I'd been to my first national championships and finished 4th. From there, I just worked my way up through the England setup at the time. So
he did the Talent ID day here at Angmering, actually. We were in the gym, and then from there, Louis got invited to the talent squad, basically within Boccia England.
I was in the England squad for 1 or 2 years, maybe 3 years, and then I was on a transition period.
I'm desperately trying to think back to all of it because it was all so quick.
Yes.
Louis' transition was very, very quick.
Do I think my development's been too fast? No, I don't think so. I think that all I'm trying to do is keep learning from these opportunities, and as long as I keep doing that, then I think it's okay. And I'm sure that these kind of experiences I've had in the last few years will stand me in good stead going forward for my next competitions and the next few seasons.
It worked for him, definitely, and it depends on you as a personality and you as a person and the support structures around you. So it definitely worked for him, and they were very good at meeting up on a regular basis with Louis, his family, us at school, and just talking through, this is where we want to go, this is what we want to do, this is what we expect. So it worked really well for Louis. Others need a bit more time before they sort of come in, and then they need to be introduced more gradually sometimes. So it just depends on the personality.
I think the next part of it then was incredibly quick. So he was only in the talent squad for, I think, the equivalent of, like, he skipped level 1 basically. So normally young people were brought in, they did year 1, did the 6 training camps throughout the year, then moved into year 2, did the training camps, and then there was a discussion about where their future sat, whether they went back to their community or whether they progressed into Boccia UK talent ID. So Louis kind of skipped year 1, straight into year 2, and then from there was actually picked up immediately as well, and was taken straight into a Boccia UK talent ID day.
When you're thinking about managing your studies and your sport, you've really got to think about all the transferable skills that you have, that actually to be dedicated and disciplined and to focus on your training. You know, it's similar when you're studying. You need the same skill set, and I think it's definitely a positive thing having Boccia. I definitely feel like it's helped my studies rather than hindered it.
Louis worked hard on the aeroplane when we were flying to places. He would do his work. So for the international competitions, generally Steve got to go, which I'm still unhappy with him because I was here having to work, and he was getting to go all around the world.
In Russia, in Madrid, in Portugal, in Liverpool, in Hong Kong, from Rio. Carry on.
Yeah. Well, certainly when we first went away, so we went from the British Championships in 2017, and then we went to Kansas, and then suddenly I was teaching Shakespeare again, and well, teaching, talking about, and reviewing, but little bits and pieces.
Yeah, I remember doing English literature revision with him when we flew to Prague.
I was just falling asleep on the plane.
I think I would have preferred to, but no. So in that, he did make the most of every minute he had in that sense. So yeah, he used his time. We did support Louis with managing the schoolwork as well. So he had a slightly reduced timetable in years 10 and 11 to get his GCSEs, but then he would just work incredibly hard. And the truth of it is, it was him.
He's a good student. He didn't need my help, that's for sure.
We probably supported him more through A-levels, so we split his A-levels over 3 years. Yeah, because Tokyo should have obviously been right in the middle of his A-levels.
The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades. From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home.
Kind of moved this table out of the way, and I was just training in here. I was incredibly lucky to have this opportunity to be able to carry on playing Boccia. In the COVID lockdown, and it really helped me when the restrictions lifted to get to the Tokyo Paralympics. So I'm so grateful for Izzy and my sister, and also just my family for letting me use this space, and then also Claire and Steve for coming online and doing some training sessions with me. But it was a really difficult time, because I think what you don't realise in sport is that you need other people to get ideas from and push you and push each other. And when you're so isolated, you've got to do that all by yourself. So I think that's one thing I've kind of learned from the COVID experience, is that it's so important to connect with people and to challenge your thinking, because it's too easy when you're by yourself just to think everything's good, everything's right.
We have a GB coach, and her and I chat about with Louis, never without him. Everything we do with Louis. So if he says no, that's a dumb idea, don't do it. We talk it to him and go, okay, we won't do it. But we always so the athlete is central to the whole thing.
Di was one of our LSAs who sadly passed away, but in her memory, we set up this award for sporting excellence. So Di was really passionate about the students having access to sport and the community and the world. And Louis won his in his year, because by this point he was an international athlete competing for Boccia UK.
To kind of follow in the footsteps of all of my sporting heroes was just so nice. So that's why that award just means so much to me.
Shame I'm not on that list, isn't it? Before Louis went to the University of Sussex and using their sports facilities to train, not only did he used to train at Amorin, he also used to train at Middleton Sports Club, just down the way from where he lives. Funny enough, it is also where I opened the accessible route into their venue.
Yeah, I'm Matthew Hansford from Middleton Sports Club. I first saw this little boy, I think, about 10 years ago.
We set up, obviously, a club at Middleton. So that was just an extra training space.
I remember seeing Louis in there, you know, concentrating harder than anyone else. I remember seeing you there, not concentrating quite as hard, but he was focused like you wouldn't believe. You could always see that he was slightly different to everyone else.
Is that still going?
No, it hasn't been. I think, unfortunately, I know COVID's an excuse for everything, but that really just put a time limit on it.
So this used to be where we had the Boccia, and it had a wooden floor here. But about 3 years ago, they basically got outside caterers to come in and run the restaurant. So unfortunately, we lost the facility of having an area for Boccia here.
And again, it's about players, isn't it? Yeah. The players that were coming to that have now sort of moved on a bit.
So going to the Paralympics was such a special experience for me. To be on kind of the world's biggest stage and achieve a dream I had, you know, since watching London 2012 and thinking, wow, this is something that I'd love to do. To get there was just amazing. And I want to be back there, I want to perform better next time.
Oh, incredible. I mean, we're so obviously proud of him as, you know, a group of people who've had the pleasure of working with him and supporting him. No, it's been absolutely fabulous.
But yeah, Tokyo was unbelievable. I couldn't believe the size of it, the scale of everything. You know, it was amazing to be a part of.
And the fact that he's managed to hold down his degree as well and embrace every part of uni life, as well as keep his boccia to that really high standard. So, in that sense, my journey with Louis is sort of at an end, really. Yeah. It's just following his progress.
Obviously, I'm really, really enjoying boccia at the moment, so I want to carry on playing for as long as I can. I've got to finish my degree as well, so hopefully I can do that in 3 years, and maybe I'll think about doing a master's or stay in kind of university as long as possible. So I really enjoy it here.
My hope would be that he gets to do at least another 2 or 3 Paralympic cycles, just to be part of the sport. And I'd love to see him get a Paralympic medal. You know, I think getting an individual medal would be the best achievement for him, because a lot of his medals that he's received at international level have been in the pairs. And he's definitely actively contributed to their successes and their wins, but I think to bag that individual medal, for me, I'd love to see him get an individual Paralympic medal.
In Paris, and that's my goal. That's why we come to training, to try and work hard and put ourselves in a position to get to the next Paralympics in less than 2 years' time now.
You know, if he's selected for Paris, potentially seeing if I can get out to Paris and go and support him as anybody else would.
Thank you for watching. Coming up next is probably another YouTube clip, so stay tuned for that. I've been Peter Lenton, and this was INCREDI-BALL.